everyone. Welcome to the instant reaction. Quick thoughts of me, Matt. After a 4-3 win, a 4-3 loss against Manchester City, it felt like a win due to the incredible performance of some players today. Incredibly, 2 penalties involved in today. If you'd watched the watch along, you'll know that me, Sam, and Carl enjoyed ourselves incredibly watching that game, despite the negative result. We'd probably be a bit more negative if this was, had any bearing on our season whatsoever, but as it is, we're already safe in the Premier League. Man City are already champions, so it didn't really matter at the end of the day. So Steve Bruce set up the team the way he usually does. It worked in the last game, so we'll stick with it. We'll just go with what we know, and it worked well. We played with a bit more freedom than we probably would have if this was a game with something at stake. Players were playing with a bit more freedom. Joelinton, saint-maximin, and Willock playing with a bit more freedom, running at players and stuff like that. We put 3 past a 35-year-old Scott Carson playing for the first time in 10 years. I don't know if that's Pep Guardiola taking the piss out of Steve Bruce for winning Manager of the Month somehow, or if he just genuinely rotated his squad, but I don't understand why Zach Steffen wouldn't start for them. But yeah, started off pretty well. We went 1-0 up miraculously. My prediction of a 1-0 win was on straight away. It was Emil Krafth, of all people, rising highest above Nathan Ake, who'd been brought into the side as well. Nodding in from a Jonjo Shelvey corner. Scott Carson, absolutely no hope. Couldn't believe it. We were wondering what the odds were on Emil Krafth to score. And in the first half, we'll come on to City's goals in a minute, but in the first half, another unexpected scorer, Joelinton, some fantastic feat to beat a couple of City players in the box before Ake takes away his standing leg, wins a penalty, and then smashes it home to make it 2-2 on the stroke of half-time. We'll come to the City goals in a moment, like I said. Joelinton, out of interest, if you hadn't watched the watch along and you are just tuning into the quick reaction, he's taken 4 penalties for us. They've all been to the left-hand side of the goal as you look at it, and he's scored now 2 from 4. So he's got an exact 50% conversion rate, and the keeper knows exactly where he's going to go each time. So luckily, Scott Carson wasn't quite good enough to get to the ball. It was smashed into the side netting. He made it 2-2. And in the second half, just to get in on the action, Joe Willock decided to win a penalty, take a penalty, miss a penalty, but then score the rebound as well. So 3 decent goals from potentially unexpected sources for the first 2, but Joe Willock, nice to see him chipping in yet again with a goal, although that probably does add to his price tag come the summer, which is not a positive thing for Mike Ashley or for Newcastle fans if we actually want to see him in a Newcastle shirt next season, which it remains to be seen. But yeah, like I say, moving on to the City goals. First one, lucky deflection. Cancelo takes a cross shot, takes a deflection, spins in the far post. Nothing the keeper can do. Second one, whipped in. I think it was Gundogan whipped in a nice flat ball into the front post. Ferran Torres, one of Spain's hottest young prospects, who eventually went up to score a hat-trick in today's game. Got his first of today's goals by just flicking it on over Dubravka at the near post. Jonjo Shelvey potentially could have done better there, but no chance for the goalkeeper. Second half, it came in. Ferran Torres again. Ball was whipped in from the right-hand side just after Joe Willock had converted his rebound from the penalty. He's caught napping, not tracking his man. Ferran Torres in the 6-yard box with acres and acres of space. Nice ball in, nice finish into the side netting from quite a tricky finish. All one-touch finishes for Ferran Torres. And to complete his hat-trick, Joao Cancelo rattled a shot off the post from good 25, 30 yards, and Torres was the first to react. He got the lucky bounce off the post and tapped it into an empty net because Dubravka had sprawled across trying to save the shot from Cancelo. So all in all, a disappointing result, but an entertaining game because, they're arguably the best side in the world, and we put 3 past them. Not many teams beat them. Yes, they were weakened, and yes, there was no pressure on this game, but it was still a positive performance. And taking into account the recent performances, there was the incredible news this morning that Steve Bruce has won Manager of the Month for our performances over the past month. 2 wins, 2 draws. Sam asked me and did the watch along, do I feel like I'm watching the Newcastle of old? At least we've got a little bit of fight in us. And I disagreed at the time. Said, I don't really feel like it because we're still bottling games, and we still are. But it is nice to see a bit of spirit in the side. It's nice to see a bit of fight. That's partly down to the personnel. Could be down to the management. Could be down to the fight for survival. But it's just nice to see it for the fans. And Hopefully, the next game in the league is Sheffield United. Hopefully, those fans will be allowed to go into the game. The tickets are being sold, so hopefully nothing drastic happens between now and then. But there will be approximately, if all the tickets get sold, 10,000 fans to either show their support or show their discontent at the way Newcastle's run at the moment. Come, I think it's Wednesday, that game. So we'll see how that game goes. We'll look forward to that in a moment. But for today's game, the positives to take away, we did things well that we're not usually good at. Usually we'd sit behind the ball, we'd accept that they're going to have, 80% possession, dominate the ball, create chances here and there. We wouldn't usually put pressure on the ball. And it was players that we wouldn't expect to turn up defensively that did, people that cranked the pressure up. Jonjo Shelvey, continuing on from his performance at Leicester, did a nice job in the midfield today. Not letting the midfielders of Man City having too much time on the ball to dictate play. We pointed out in the watch along that the chances, yes, they scored 4 goals, but they came from nothing really. The first 2 especially, one was a set piece and the other one was a lucky deflection. They didn't really test Dubravka apart from the 4 goals, and we did well to subdue them. Jacob Murphy had a bit of a nightmare against Joao Cancelo. That's pretty much where the game was won and lost. But we pointed out in the watch along Saint-Maximin, his work defensively over the past couple of games. The fact that we can have a game where he puts in a good performance, but we don't have to rely on him to create everything. So he put in a good defensive shift. He was putting pressure on the ball high up the pitch, not letting those City players dictate the pace and the tempo of the game, which is why we stayed in the game so long, even leading the game at points and looking like we could genuinely come away with it. The only problem today, the issue that let us down, is we couldn't hold on to a lead for very long, even if our lives depended on it. Sam kept jinxing it on the watch along. He kept saying, we've just got to hold this lead till half time. We've just got to hold this lead as long as we can. And then immediately City would turn around and score 1 or even 2, as it turned out, after Joe Willock's goal. But here we are, not blaming Sam at all. He's in the background. He's watching me, but, it's his fault. We'll just blame him. People in the comments criticising different players, praising different players. Krafth today did all right. Obviously, chipped in with a goal. He's had his critics over the course of the season, myself included, and I know Sam as well, and stepped up with a goal today. Potentially could have given Jacob Murphy a bit more help on that side, but can't really lay the blame at any single player's door today, apart from maybe Jacob Murphy. But, you've got arguably the best fullback in the league against you and the best side in the world against you. You're a converted right winger to a right wing back. Of course, you're going to struggle. So we can't really blame him today. We did really miss someone like Callum Wilson up top dictating our attacking tempo. We pointed out again in the watch along, there was a chance that Miggy had broke through on goal and Joelinton just ran in a straight line towards the goal. And the chance was wasted because of it, because there was nowhere to go for Miggy. Whereas someone like Callum Wilson, someone like Gale, someone with an experienced head on their shoulders, curves the run off to the right, they peel off, take the last defender with them, creating the space for Miggy. And then if the defender decided to step up to Miggy, Miggy's then got the time and space to pass the ball into Joelinton, who the defenders left free. But, that comes with time. Joelinton today, really not his best game in a Newcastle shirt. Delighted that he got the goal. Good that he had the confidence to step up and take the pen. But these next two games against Sheffield United and Fulham, they're crucial for him to step up and bag a couple of goals, because that'll be crucial for his confidence going into next season. Because next season is really make or break for his career, because he's really not justified the money that we paid for him. And that's not his fault. He didn't put his own price tag on his head, but he really needs to do more for this team to be in with a chance of staying anywhere near it. So it'd be nice if he could chip in with a couple of goals in the next couple of games. Speaking of the next couple of games, we've got Sheffield United at home and Fulham away as the next two games. I can't see any of your comments if they're popping up on screen at the moment, but don't forget to interact in the comments below with everyone else as well as myself. Let us know your score prediction for those games. Do you reckon we're going to take 6 points from the two relegated sides? Do you reckon we'll struggle? Do you reckon we'll end up giving 6 points to Sheffield United over the course of a season? Don't forget to interact in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, drop a like on this video and all the videos we're doing tonight, including the watch along. We've got the quick thoughts, obviously, with me, and then we'll have the fan reaction coming up next with Johnny and Carl before scoring the players with Adam, who's presenting for the first time, and Sam. And of course, the last word with Lee and a clip from Adam as well, coming up right at the end of tonight. So don't forget to subscribe to not miss any of that content and drop a like on all of those. It helps us out massively. Yeah, it was an average performance defensively for Newcastle today, but it was nice to see some spirit. It would be nice if in the final two performances of the season, especially in that Sheffield United performance in front of the fans for the first time in what feels like forever, it would be nice if the team put in a bit of graft, win, lose, or draw. We just ask that they fight for the shirt, and they did today. We were just beaten by the better team, and you can go into all the stats of how much each player cost and everything like that. And the difference that each individual made. Cancelo, a £60 million fullback, coming up with a goal and assist, terrorizing Jacob Murphy the entire game. It's down to the investment in the club that they've made, and not that we've not made, and that's down to Mike Ashley. So it'll be interesting in the summer to see if the takeover goes through. If that's going to be this summer or sometime in the future. And if it doesn't, will Mike Ashley be willing to invest in this club to the point where we can compete to something above 17th place, also 16th place in this division? Because there's talent in this squad. They've shown this over the last few games. Steve Bruce winning Manager of the Month, whatever. That we've competed along with the big dogs. We've taken the fight to Leicester. We've taken the fight to City. They're two of the top three teams in the division. And we scored 7 goals against 2 of the top 3. And yes, we've also conceded. Wait, have we conceded? Yeah, we scored 7 and we've conceded for 6. So technically, we're in the positive against the top 3. We're discounting Man United's drubbing of us, obviously. But we've shown that we've got the talent. We've shown that we've got the desire. Do we have the manager? Do we have the players in that squad to push us higher up the table? Because we can't be in this fight again next season. We can't continue to just scrap out scrappy results and just draw the season out into misery, because we've said this long before, we're still Bruce out. If fans were in this stadium or this season, Bruce would have been sacked a long time. Either that or he would have walked a long time ago, because the fans are just still not happy, even after a performance like today. So we'll come to the end of the season. We'll see how the last couple of games go. Hopefully it can be a positive end to a topsy-turvy season, a season like no other so far, it's safe to say. Hopefully we can finish a little bit higher than just outside the relegation zone. It's still possible. I don't think we can quite make the top half anymore, but it would be nice to finish above more than 3 teams, and hopefully put a squad together to compete next season. Hopefully Joe Willock can make the mighty return to the mighty Mags. But but anyway, guys, we're running out of time here on the instant reaction. Thanks so much for watching. If you stuck along from the watch along, you've done the long shift with me. If you just joined in, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all. If you could drop a like on this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to stick around. We've got the fan reaction coming up next with Johnny and Carl, then scoring the players, and then of course the last word with Lee and Adam as well. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and we'll catch you in the next video.